Welcome back to the Journey to the FarLands. All right. Well, let's see. It looks like it's all set up here, so let's bust out. Get it. Whoa, hello. Talk about being rude. All right, we'll just let him burn. Just let him burn to death. All right, great. Collect up the arrows. Yeah. Okay. He was over here in all of this. Well. Okay. Step the first. Get that closed off. Step the second. Let's do something about health. Yeah. And while I'm at it, let's see. If I should happen to respawn here. Oh crap, a creeper. Yeah, as I was saying, in the to be devoutly hoped it doesn't happen event, that I should ever happen to respawn here, let's arrange for there to be enough light around here that events like that will not happen upon coming out. Yeah. And I don't mind spamming a bunch of torches around here just to make sure that these trees of darkness do not produce what they allowed to, well, I don't suppose they produced it, but they allowed it to continue existing. All right. Go ahead and collect this. And yeah, we don't want that. And we don't want that. Now, onwards to the FarLands. And hopefully we don't have any more excitement. Because I don't know about you, but I don't need the excitement. Oh man, that was certainly unexpected. I am quite accustomed to coming out of the between episodes hidey hole and not seeing much of anything around. Oh well. At the very least, it wasn't a case of walk out and have a creeper drop on my face. You know, that would be extra special, not good. It would completely ruin the record of not having died in this world. Yeah. And that's unusual for me because usually, early on in the world, I die a whole bunch. Alright. Anyway, now let's see, now that we're on the road here. Oh, yeah. Had to click my notepad back on top. For some reason it wasn't. Okay, anyway, here we are. The morning of the 457th day since leaving spawn. And the size of the world is up to 5,507.1 megabytes. As we continue westward, journeying to the FarLands, raising money for Child's Play charity, and enjoying all the crazy, wonderful terrain generation that Minecraft Beta 1.7.3 has in store for us, and also the occasional surprise skeleton and creeper. Yeah. Whoops. Okay, can I do this without croaking myself? Yes. Okay, sheep, you're next. Oh boy. More openings to the pit of doom over there. Yeah. That was definitely something to make sure that you're awake. I am absolutely totally awake now. I wasn't 100% sure before that, but I'm sure now. Yeah. There's nothing like stepping outside to get shot at. Yeah. Well, yeah, the mobs of Minecraft definitely managed to do their thing. Anyway, now that things are calmed down a bit here, I can get off of that nonsense. And let's see. All right, yeah, here we are. There's a question. Diane Christensen asks, what is the worst weather you've experienced where you live? Also says, a new game suggestion, Rising World on Steam. I've looked at Rising World, and the best I can say about it really is, and you know, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad at all. It looks like it draws some inspiration from Minecraft and, you know, like so many games do these days, and then proceeds to go in its own direction, which is great. The thing that I can say about it is, however, that it's one of those that looks to be a monstrous time sink. And right now, I don't need another time sink. I have got quite a few time sinks as it is. And several of them are packaged up in a Minecraft box. I don't know. It might be something to look at some point later when I'm not quite so busy with things right now, but I have enough things keeping me sufficiently busy that I don't want to get into another time sink right now. I really don't. Oh, scary cave noise. Which is not necessarily Minecraft just blowing smoke either. Oh boy. A mini desert with a bit of gravel and... Alright, wait a minute. Yeah. Uh-huh. That looks cool. Just a mix of things. Gravel beach extending into a mini desert with... Oh, shut up. Will you, Cal? I get talking and you gotta do that. Oh, boy. And then we have ye old floating block of sand. Several floating blocks of sand. Let's see, I think if I update just one of those. Alright, I updated the wrong one. Oh boy. Well, as for the worst weather I have experienced where I live, oh, that one's easy. Late January 2009. There was an ice storm. This ice storm was so severe that there were in excess of 1 million people in this area that had no power. And this lack of power lasted for no less than, well, in my case, 3 weeks without electricity. And let me tell you, that was some exciting times, not? Oh boy. Yeah. 3 weeks with no power, and couldn't go anywhere because the ice made the streets pretty much impassable. It was like at least 2 weeks before I could actually, before things were cleared enough that I was willing to risk going anywhere. How about that? And yeah, that was some lean times, some extremely boring times. I mean, yes, I did get out some books. I spent a lot of time reading, and after a while, you can read just, everybody has their limit about how much they can read. And, well, between the several different books I got into, I probably went through close to 3,000 pages, and I got tired of reading. I read several very large books and enjoyed every bit of them because they're books that I don't generally get out very often. I believe at least 2 of them were books in the Dune series, and those have always been large books. And I forget what all else I might have gotten into, but yeah. It was a really special time. And I sincerely hope that a storm like that doesn't happen again anytime in the next several hundred years. Because, oh boy. Oh, come on. Get off of the sand. There we go. Yeah, that was bad. I mean, it's just, there wasn't anything you could do. I mean, the roads were so clogged, and this particular area, this little city / town / whatever it is that I live in, is built on a bunch of hills. And when the roads turn to ice, and the ice is several inches thick, you don't go anywhere until they manage to get the roads scraped off to where you're not cruising on ice. Because driving on ice is extremely hazardous in itself. Driving on ice in an area such as this one, where the residents are not accustomed to driving on slippery stuff like ice, that's asking for trouble. Absolutely. You know, I grew up in Massachusetts, and I've been around ice and icy road surfaces, and I've done a certain amount of driving on icy conditions myself, and I know how to handle myself in it and how to not spin out and go crazy and so on. But the problem is all these other people out there on the road that, in the case of Arkansas, without any malice intended in the comment at all, don't have the first clue about driving on slick surfaces. They don't have the first clue about it, and you can tell they don't have a clue when they pull out traveling the same speed they would drive as if it was bone dry and warm. That's mistake number one. When you're driving on slick surfaces, you have to be slower than normal. And I realize that the world full of people that like to have everything happen instantaneously, with no waiting, and won't even... The generation that invented TLDR... I realize that people have become extremely impatient these days, but when you're driving on something like ice, you gotta take your time, because if you don't, you'll wish you had. Sooner or later, probably sooner. Yeah. Fortunately, in the years since then, there not only hasn't been that much ice, thank you very much, and there hasn't been a heck of a lot of snow and whatnot. We don't normally get a whole lot of that sort of thing around here. It happens from time to time. We don't really get too super much of it. What we do get is cold. I mean, a lot of people think Arkansas, and they automatically think south and warm and all of that, and it just ain't so. The winters around here can be brutally cold. It may be in the 80s in November and even late December, and then you get into January and it's like the bottom falls out of the thermometer. And you discover new adventures, and oh my God, it's cold. So yeah, that's a thing. This year, however, I have to admit, it hasn't been as bad as it could have been. Ooh, I love this. A new front runner for the thumbnail. Yeah, that just looks cool. I'm sorry, it does. It's like a desert bleeding onto an extreme hills. Yeah. We'll get to see what it looks like up here now. More of the same. Yeah. Oh, man. This is awesome. Man, you could spend weeks in a place like this. You could. Oh, man. And as it happens, I won't be spending weeks here. But got a good screenshot. And I'm going to come up here and get myself at least one more. Yeah. Uh-huh. That's pretty cool. And now we move on. And that really cool vista falls into the background, not to be visited again. But it was a great place to go through. And more gravel beach. All right, well, yeah, so that's pretty much it about the weather. The hugest thing was the ice storm of '09. Since then, there's been a lot of cold. There's been tornadoes. I believe it was '06 or '07. There was a series of tornadoes that came through here. And I think at least one of them was like an F3 or an F4. And it came right through the local area here. And my brother, who was on the way home during the storm, had quite an adventure, because he was driving home and this tornado came along and had different ideas. Apparently it picked up his car and swung it around a time or two and tossed it into a ditch next to the road. Talk about your basic excremental moment. Yeah, that was quite the adventure. That I'm glad I wasn't there. Surprisingly, he came out of that without a scratch. The vehicle was pretty much totaled. You know, you'd take a car and pick it up and throw it down to the ground. Yeah, that's going to be pretty bad for it. But, yeah, he came out of it with no injury or anything like that. And it was, oh boy. That was pretty serious. Beyond that, the normal sort of stuff. Lots of cold in the January and February season usually. And occasional bits of snow, ice, and such like. But, yeah, there are those occasional moments that jump out and say, yo, don't forget Mother Nature can be a something or other. Yeah, it certainly can. Oh, boy. Okay, let's see here. I actually did have another topic I wanted to get into, but I'm already into the third day here, and I don't have time, so I'm going to have to address that one another time. Let's see. Coit Anderson says you can record 2 or more episodes in one setting. I know you've done it before. Question, can you bring back Sir Gorf for at least 1 or 2 episodes? Sir Gorf can occasionally appear. He does occasionally appear in the vlogs. That has started happening again, somewhat recently-ish. And no telling. I'm not prepared for that today, of course. But, yeah, it can happen. I won't make any commitments as to when or how often, but, yeah, that definitely can happen. As for recording 2 or more episodes in one setting, this is true. I have done this a few times, and well, it just depends on the individual circumstances of that day. Like, for example, today, after I finish up this recording and get it edited and rendered out and uploading, then I've got some other things I need to get doing. Because you see, as I record this is Sunday. As a matter of fact, it's the same day that it's going to be up on YouTube. I like to do it the day before, but somebody didn't get to it the day before. And one of the things that happens on Sunday is that that's the day that I like to put the trash out. to be ready for collection on Monday. And the only reason that this is actually anything even remotely resembling a big deal is that in order to get the trash out, I need to get myself enough drive to collect it. Not only just, now the regular normal, what I call normal trash, your basic normal trash, which usually for the most part is like kitchen trash, you know, stuff like that. That isn't a big deal. Oh, I need more boats. That is a big deal. The normal trash isn't a big deal. What is a big deal, though, is that I have to go through the house and pick out things that need to be gotten rid of. Excuse me. Over and above that, because, you know, there's so much stuff in this house, some of it that I haven't even looked at in 6 or 7 years, that has been collecting since moving in here in December of 2001. I am still trying to get rid of as much of that as I can. And so I'm going to have to, well, go to the store and get some more trash bags because I'm about out. And then commence to, oh, you're going to be like that. Well, so much for that boat. I was going to try to dig my way through without getting on the boat, but I should have known that wasn't going to work. And then once I have that, I need to just pick a pile of stuff and start stuffing it into trash bags and get it out there to be taken care of. And I know what with getting the trash bags and then doing all the stuff and hauling it out there, I'm going to blow a couple of hours on that. And I know that sounds sort of lame, and it may even be sort of lame. You know, I don't care. But yeah, that's pretty much what my afternoon is going to be. At least an hour or two of it. Getting that all sorted out. Ideally, what I'd like to do is that every week have at least half of the trash bin full of extraneous BS that needs to be gotten rid of from like years ago. I could probably, you know, this is a 3-bedroom house. I could probably fill at least one of them with all the junk that needs to be gotten rid of. You know, seriously. A lot of times, I have to admit that the reason I don't get to it is that I wear out so easily these days, doing very little. I get so totally worn out and out of breath and everything, and yeah. And I end up saying, no, I'm not going to mess with that right now. I just don't feel up to it. And that's the way it ends up happening, or not happening, as the case may be. Yeah. Yo, spider. Shut it. Okay, well. Did I ask you anything? Oh, boy. Those guys. Okay, well. Anyway, I was just going to say I need to be looking out for a good hidey hole place. And I think I may have found something. Let's head onward, though, because that is going to be a haven of doom. And 2, 3, 4, no, it looked like a 5, but nope. Oh man, you can hear all the quote-unquote fun people in there. I definitely don't want to be parking close to that. So let's try the other side of this thing over here. And hopefully there will be something acceptable there. I think we may have a winner. Right there. On this space of this wall right here. Just dig right in here and that should do it. It's a good thing too because it's getting dark right now. Alright, get dug in here. Alright, close this up, torch it up, and get the rest of this thing dug out. All right. Okay, pop down the bed. Make some more. Three boats ought to be enough. Okay, great. Anyway, I think that's pretty much going to do it for today. And if all goes well, and another one of the things I'm doing later this afternoon or this evening is I'm going to be getting part 2 of the Adventures of Harry Fenton put together and ready to upload. So that should happen in the morning. In the meantime, thanks for watching. Take it easy. I am out of here.